Good evening, Crisis Call, Shania speaking.
Hello. I really need to talk. I really need help.
What can I help you with today? And may I ask your name?
Yeah, my name is Blake. I need to talk. I need help. I called you because I really need someone to listen. I'm so lost and don't know which direction to turn.
May I ask what you're particularly lost about?
Hold on. Bear with me. I can't stop crying. I
That-
literally cry every day.
That's okay, take all the time you need, Blake, and when you're comfortable, we can talk.
Just give me a moment. It's so hard for me. I'm so ashamed. Just give me a moment.
No problem.
Right now, and for the last while, I've been more than just sad. I think I'm depressed. I've never felt this way before. But all day I can't get out of bed. I can't do anything. I feel like a deer lost in the headlights. Everything is so hard. Days go by so slow. Weeks seem to go by so fast. Nothing in my life makes sense. And everything is too much to bear. Everything is completely and utterly overwhelming.
Yeah, sometimes people feel overwhelmed, and that's completely fine, Blake. I just want to know what's overwhelming you. Is there anything necessarily that's changed? What's overwhelming you?
Well, it's hard to explain. Like, I literally lay in bed all day. And still, while I lay there, I can barely sleep. I spend all day looking at the ceiling, praying for a way out, praying for a way to feel better. I feel trapped, and the walls in my room constantly feel like they're closing in on me. I literally cry all the time. Fuck, I'm even crying right now, right as we speak. I'm so ashamed. I'm so pathetic. I'm so lost. I don't know which way to go and which direction to turn. Days turn into nights and nights into days. Time moves so slow, but my mind is a race that won't stop, no matter how hard I try not to think and not to dwell. I'm so scared that I'm terrified. I'm having panic attacks constantly. At times, I feel like I'm dying. At times, I feel like I'm having out of body experiences. I'm numb, but I hurt in my mind. I feel like giving up. I feel like running away, but I'm so scared I can barely move. And even when everything I'm going through, I have no idea what's causing it.
Yeah. Um, Crying is nothing to be ashamed of, Blake. It Panic attacks happen and they're scary, and feeling scared is okay. And all the feelings that you're feeling, they're okay and they're normal. And it's scary, yes, definitely. Tell me about what tell me about the change, like I'm trying to pinpoint what exactly changed in your life that made these panic attacks happen or these overwhelming feelings happen. Is there anything necessarily that might have changed in your day-to-day life?
Well, if I was to pinpoint it, it would have to be my relationship with my girlfriend. About a month ago, I found out that she was cheating on me with one of my very good friends. And she left me. She broke up with me and she broke my heart. And for the last month, ever since, every day since, I've been so depressed. And I'm so sad and I'm so alone. And I feel like I lost the love of my life. And ever since she broke up with me, the days have been getting harder and harder to deal with.
Yeah. Um, Although it was a breakup, you still lost someone and you go through a grieving process. And although it's not a physical loss, you still definitely lost someone, and that grieving process is okay, and grieving is okay, and people feel down when they're grieving, especially when you essentially lost two people, you know? Um, though the thing about breakups, Blake, is that there's always a come around. People go through breakups. The thing is that it gets better, you know? And it's
I hope
harder
so.
said than done. And I definitely can understand that.
I hope so. I hope so much that it gets better because literally, like, as the days go by, it just seems to get worse and worse. My loneliness gets worse, my isolation, my sadness, my depression. um, my thoughts of guilt, my shame, being embarrassed, like right now, I'm crying and I'm a man and I'm crying. I'm so embarrassed. I'm embarrassed by my emotions. I'm embarrassed by the fact that you're listening to me and you're a woman. I feel weak and I feel small. I feel insignificant and everything matters to me, but I honestly believe I don't matter at all.
Well, I would like you to know that you do matter, your feelings matter, um, your opinions matter, and yeah, everything what you're saying is validated and it doesn't have no use. It's of use. I would like to point out that it was a huge strength and it is brave for you to take the time to talk to me, no matter your gender.
So you're saying it's okay to cry in front of a woman?
Definitely crying in front of a woman, in front of a man, a dog, a cat, a child. Crying is okay. Crying is a normal, um, it's a normal reaction that people have no matter who you are. You start off as babies crying. So why do you have to stop crying now? I definitely think it was a stigma that has been placed into society, and it's unfair that your feelings have developed well, not really developed, that you feel like you have to stop your feelings because of what society has put onto you.
Yeah. Like when I'm done crying, like right now, I'm not crying. It feels like a release. Like when I let my emotions out and I don't bottle them up, the weight of the world seems to lighten a little bit. And the only other release that I have is when I sleep, and I can barely do that. My mind just races and races because of my anxiety, and it feels like a race that I'm losing. My friends told me, go see a doctor, so I did, but she ignored me and she disregarded how I was feeling. She didn't even care and she didn't even help a little. So that's why I called you. I need someone to help me. I need someone to listen.
Well, I'm glad again that you did call, and sometimes you do just need someone to listen, and you taking that step was extremely brave. I'm sorry you did have that experience at the doctor's. Sometimes in the healthcare system, people go really fast and they're not really recognizing the mental signs that people might have. So, again, I am sorry for that experience. However, I would like you to know that I am here, I am listening, and you are heard, and I'm here to support.
Thank you.
No problem, Blake. I just want to ensure your safety a bit. Um,
Yeah, go ahead.
I would like to make sure that you are currently in a safe place.
Well, right now in my room, the door's shut and it's locked. My parents are somewhere else in the house, but I'm in a place where I'm in privacy, where people don't have to hear what I'm talking about, so I have nothing to hide. And I am safe. I do promise you that. But I will admit that for the last little while, I've had suicidal thoughts. I've thought of suicide as a way to escape and as a way for the pain to go away and for the despair to end and the sadness to go away and the tears to stop. And every day I wake up and usually I have suicidal thoughts early in the day in the morning when the day is so big, when you first wake up. And that's when I have the thoughts the most. But right now I can promise you I'm safe.
Yeah, sometimes when life gets difficult, people consider different options, and sometimes it's harming yourself, in the most ultimate way. And I'm so glad that you're comfortable to share this information with me and that you feel safe to share this information with me. And I would like you to know that your feelings are safe and supported. Just to further ensure your safety, though, Blake, and you did warn me. So, yeah, you did warn me, so I am not worried. Though, if you are ever actively considering suicide and have an active plan, then I am obligated to report this to authorities.
Well, to be honest, I don't really have a plan. Like, I don't really think about ways to do it, you know, or a date to do it, or like how I would write a note or what I would write in the note. I don't think about like hanging myself or slitting my wrists or taking too many pills. Like, I just think about literally I just think about, oh, life would be so much easier if it wasn't around. Like, life would be easier if I wasn't alive. That's what I think. But for in not in I'll be honest, I haven't been planning it. I haven't been, kind of strategizing how I would do it. I just feel that it would be an escape and then it would make things a lot easier.
Yeah, a lot of the time when people feel overwhelmed, we just want to escape whatever situation it is and however way we can do it, whether it's completely leaving the situation or feelings of wanting to leave like this earth completely. And it's you're it's understandable people feel that way.
Well,
But
here's the thing, like, when I sleep and I haven't been sleeping much, but when I sleep and I don't dream, I don't feel anything. And sometimes I feel like, maybe that's what death feels like, that you feel nothing. And when I'm awake and I feel so much and I feel so much that hurts, it makes me think like maybe maybe just sleeping forever would be easier, you know?
yeah, it's hard. It's hard when you have those overwhelming feelings constantly bothering you, especially when you feel so isolated and you feel so alone. Um, Tell me how you cope with these feelings, Blake. What do you do?
Well, one thing I started doing, I started writing. Um, I started journaling. Um, my older brother recommended it to me because he could see, like, I didn't tell him like what was going on, but he could see something wasn't right. So I started journaling every day, and I literally journal about anything I want. I'll write the F word and see where it takes me. And very often I write about reasons that I'm hurting or reasons that I'm in pain or reasons that I'm sad or that I'm depressed. And I'll write reasons why I want to give up and why I want to die and why I want to commit suicide. But then I always continue writing to a point where I have a conversation with myself and I talk to myself and I talk to myself about the things that I love and the people that I love and the people that love me and the things that I've done in my life that make me proud. And when I write about these things, it takes me out of my despair and it reminds me that I have a lot more to live for than I realize, you know? So I write gratitude and I write late at night before I go to bed, as a way to comfort me and as a way to have someone to talk to because literally I haven't been talking to anyone. I haven't been talking to my friends. I haven't been talking to my family. I did go see the doctor, but that didn't help. And besides you, I haven't really been talking to anyone.
Yeah. Um, it's good that you are journaling. Journaling is such a positive coping mechanism,
It does
and
help. It
it's
really does.
great that you have learned to express those feelings, um, writing in a journal. Um, it shows that you have the strength to push through what you are feeling, and it is so amazing, Blake. I just want to let you know. Um,
Thank you.
Such a positive coping mechanism.
Thank
I sometimes, um, sorry, any other coping mechanisms that you might have?
Well, I have another one, but it's not healthy, and you're not gonna approve of it.
Yeah.
It is I drink. I drink. I've always been a drinker, uh, but since I've been depressed, drinking's been something that I do almost daily, and I find drinking numbs me, and it makes me not think of what's troubling me. But I find the day after I drink, when I'm hungover, I feel so much guilt. I feel so much regret. And my anxiety is so high to the point where I'm almost having panic attacks. And I literally spend half the day laying in bed, just hiding in my blanket. And then I start it all over again by drinking again.
Yeah.
And
And
to cope with the drinking, I also smoke marijuana a lot. And I never had a problem with marijuana. I always found it was very relaxing. But ever since my mind has been in a negative with ever since I've had a negative state of mind, when I smoke weed, now I get paranoid and I get high anxiety and I even get suicidal thoughts when I smoke marijuana. And I don't know why this is happening, but I do know that like those two things are a coping mechanism that I'm doing because of how I'm feeling and they're not making me feel any better.
yeah. Um, Although you do have this coping mechanism, Blake, I just want to let you know everyone copes in different ways, whether it's positive or negative, you know. Coping is something people do when they have trauma, you know, when they feel low, when something's happening to them. And it's not always positive, and that's okay. The thing that is great is the fact that you have recognized the fact that it is a problem and it isn't working for you. And that is such a good strength that you have, um, that you did recognize that. You
Thank you.
mentioned how this is affecting your essential home life. You haven't really been leaving home much. So, what does this mean for your outside life, your social life? What have
Oh,
you been doing?
I'm terrified of tomorrow. And the reason I'm terrified of tomorrow is because today's a weeknight and I'm supposed to go to work tomorrow. And for the last couple weeks, since my depression's been really high, I've been giving them excuses of why I can't come into work. And it's getting to the point that my absenteeism, it's so frequent and without really any explanation that I think I'm going to get fired. So I'm really scared of what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't think I'm ready to go back to work, but I'm afraid that if I continue not going to work, they're going to fire me. And I'm afraid to tell them that the reason that I'm not going to work is mental health related because of the stigma that comes with having a mental illness. I don't want them to judge me. I don't want them to think that I'm crazy or that I'm incapable of working or that I'm inadequate or that I'm a a hazard or I just I just can't go to work, and I'm afraid what that's going to result into.
Yeah, um, it's completely understandable. It's a scary situation, but you mentioning the fact that it's a stigma, you know, that stigmas, well, you might not know, but stigmas are their negative views on opinions and thoughts that aren't necessarily always right, right? And they are workplace laws in place that are there to help people that are struggling with their mental wellness, you know?
Well, I'm just afraid that they'll think I'm a liability because they'll
It's
say,
not a it's not a liability to be feeling low or to it's just like having a physical injury.
"Yeah, you think so, eh?"
I know so. I definitely think so.
That does comfort me a little. I do like my job, like when I'm feeling good, and I don't want to lose it. And if I did lose it, I don't know what I'd do, and I don't know if that would just make me feel worse than I already do because I've never felt this bad my entire life.
Yeah, it's completely understandable, and you're essentially doing this alone. You mentioned not really talking to anyone anymore and isolating yourself. Tell me about that. You said your friends got you to go to the doctors, so
Well,
it seems like they have noticed something.
they
Um,
knew that there was something wrong because I would stop answering the phone and they would come knock on my door and I would have an excuse like, "Oh, I've got a cold," or or I'm just not feeling up to it, hanging out. And then they kind of intervened and they were the ones that talked me into going to see the doctor. But even still, like even though they do know something's wrong, I find reaching out to my friends very difficult um, because I don't want my burden to become the burden of others. And also, I haven't been reaching out to my own parents because they have a lot on their plate, and I don't want my problems to make their life harder. I've kind of been a closed book. and I haven't really opened up to anyone, and I haven't really created a support system that would help me get out of this mess that I'm in. And honestly, like, I haven't really talked to anyone besides you.
Yeah. Well, just talking to me is a good step. It's a perfect step, and it's a step that will definitely help you. Um, though I do think reaching out to your relatives and friends is a good idea. You don't
Yeah.
even necessarily have to say how you're feeling, but just having that connection and that friendship there might bring your spirits up, you know?
Yeah.
Um, give one of your very, very close friends a call. You know, you don't even, like I said, you don't even have to tell them how you're feeling.
Well,
You
there's
can
I
ask
do
how
have
they're
one
feeling.
I do have one friend. He's my best friend. His name's Adam, and we've been friends since we were kids. And we've been friends through the best times of our lives, and to the hardest times, and we had the most fun, and we've always been there for each other no matter what. I was even a groomsman at his wedding, and if I could open up to anyone, I'm sure I could open up to him.
Yeah. If you're comfortable with it. Like I said, you don't even necessarily have to do that. And whenever you're comfortable, give your parents and relatives a call.
Yeah.
Ask how they're doing, or maybe just talk to them about the family dog or something. I don't know if you have a family
Yeah.
dog.
You know what? I have 2 dogs, and I'll admit, like, I haven't really been the best dog owner lately because I haven't been taking them for as many walks as I should because I've been wanting to stay inside all the time, but they do help. They do
Yeah,
help. I don't know if you
animals are
have any
such a
pets.
good support system.
I don't know if you have any pets, but I have 2 dogs, and you know what? No matter how I feel, they're still happy to see me.
Yeah,
So,
even just taking your dogs out for a walk, it might not obviously fix everything, but it might bring your spirits up for just that moment, you know?
yeah, to kinda stay present.
Yeah. Um, let's just examine some alternatives here, Blake.
Okay.
So, um, we mentioned reaching out to friends and relatives.
Yeah.
I hope that's something that you think you could do. You mentioned journaling, and I hope
Journaling
that's something you
journaling is
continue to
helping.
do.
I'm gonna keep doing that because it has been helping me.
Yeah. And let's talk about more support further than just your friends and relatives. How about going to see maybe a peer support worker, or maybe going to group support?
Honestly, I've thought about group support. I'm kind of ashamed. I haven't really been talking to a lot of people about what's going on, but maybe being in a setting where I'm with people that I can relate with, so I feel less shame, and having people that can hear my story and they can share their story and we can give each other advice. That's definitely something I've considered.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I can help make happen if you're comfortable with. Um, I also want to touch on the drinking a little bit. Hopefully, you might be comfortable with seeing an addictions counselor.
Yeah. I mean, I may not be able to give up drinking entirely. It'll be really hard, but I've heard of what's called harm reduction, which is like drinking a lot less, I guess is the easiest way to put it. Um, but yeah, seeing an addictions counselor, I think will help because the drinking's not helping.
Yeah,
It's just making life harder.
that's definitely something that can be looked into for you. Um, sorry, give me 1 second. Um, okay.
I was also wondering, like it's clear that I have depression. I can't deny that.
Okay.
From what I know of depression is that it's a mental illness. Do you think maybe seeing a psychiatrist and getting a proper diagnosis, maybe getting medicated would be an option?
So, yeah, if that's something that you want to look into, that's definitely, I can refer you to a doctor who can then refer you to a psychiatrist. And then it doesn't even necessarily have to be medication, but you and that psychiatrist can look into options that you're comfortable with. Yeah, I can make that happen if that's something that you want.
Honestly, definitely want that
No
because
problem.
if I can just feel better, if I can just feel any sense of happiness, and just any sense of relief, even if it means taking an antidepressant or a pill for anxiety, or even just having someone to talk to and to listen to me and to give me guidance, like anything like that, just anything to make my life more bearable.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely something that we can look into, Blake. Um, yeah. So we examine alternatives. I just want to know how you feel about tomorrow. Like, do you feel,
I'll be honest, I feel good now. You can see like my mood's better. Like I'm not crying. Like a weight has been lifted. Like you talking to me, listening to me. I just I feel so much of relief. But I am anxious for tomorrow.
yeah,
I mean, the last month, every day has been so hard, and I just hope tomorrow is not hard.
yeah.
I just hope, you know.
How do you, after this conversation, how do you feel like you can support yourself tomorrow? Like, what do you feel like you can do?
Honestly, I think not lay in bed all day because that just makes things worse.
Definitely.
Um, maybe write a to-do list. Little things, nothing too major, but just little things to keep my mind occupied. Maybe reach out to my friend Adam. Oh, my dogs. I've got to, walk my dogs.
Yes, walk the dogs.
Um, and if it comes down to it and it's late at night and I'm feeling overwhelmed, maybe put on a funny movie. Maybe
Yes.
put on a Home Alone or something. Like order a pizza. I don't
Yeah.
know. Eat
Doing
junk food.
simple things like eating junk food, watching TV, and listening to music are other ways to help self-care yourself, soothe yourself to feel better, definitely.
Well, that's something I could consider.
Thank,
But I will admit I'm a little scared for tomorrow.
and you know what? It's okay to be scared. People that aren't even feeling as low as you are scared to for tomorrow, you know?
What should I
So
do about my job? Should I go in when I'm feeling better and explain what happened, or should I get a doctor's note, or
so whatever you're comfortable with, if you wanted to get backed up by the doctor and then go in with the doctor's note or go in yourself and just be like, "Hey, I'm feeling low," that's definitely something that can be arranged.
okay?
But do you feel comfortable with doing that?
I think not tomorrow. I don't think I'd be comfortable to go into work until I'm starting to feel better, but I would feel better having some kind of information from a professional that I could use to support my cause. Um, because I don't want my place of business to think that I'm coming up with excuses or that I'm lying. I'm not ready to go to work, but when I do go, it'll have to be when I'm feeling better. And I do think having some kind of medical proof of what's going on is something I'd want.
Yeah, okay. So, um, let your work know that you're still not feeling well. We'll get you in touch with those medical professionals, and you can take those further steps into taking the break that you need, the mental break that you need.
Okay, thank you.
That's no problem, Blake. It's my pleasure. I hope we can kind of make a little agreement with ourselves between each other that these are commitments that you can uphold to.
Okay,
Is that something that you can do for me?
I promise I'll try my best.
All right. Um, So, in regards to all these supports that you need, if you could give us a call at 905-555-5555, we can set up um, doctor appointments, we can set up that peer supports and the peer support group, and we can also set up um, meeting up with a addictions counselor.
Perfect.
All right. How are you feeling after this call, Blake?
Honestly, I feel less heavy. I'm not crying. Um, I feel like someone finally really listened to me, and I feel like I finally really opened up. I maybe one of the reasons I was so alone through everything is the fact that I've been such a closed book. And I think talking over the phone was easier because I think being face to face would have made me very shy and very embarrassed. But talking to you, I'm not gonna lie, really did help. And I don't feel perfect. I still feel anxious and a little worried, but I do feel a great sense of relief, and I'm very very grateful for all the advice you've given me and all the ways that you've expressed how to help me. And I just want to say thank you so much.
No problem, Blake. It's a first step, and you're again so brave for making this first step in calling our crisis center today. You show incredible bravery and strength. I just want you to know that you are not alone and that you can call our crisis line whenever you need support. Um,
Okay.
I appreciate again that you called today and it took so much courage to share your story.
Thank you so much.
No problem. I'm always here again to support you during this difficult time. And I hope that everything in your journey works out for you, Blake.
Thank you so much. You have no idea how grateful I am. And I promise if I have thoughts of, say, planning suicide or anything like that, I'll reach out before I act on anything that I can't take back. And if I need to talk to someone, I really enjoy talking to you. So I'll call your crisis line and hopefully get to speak to you. You've been a wonderful help, and I just want to tell you thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure to talk to you, Blake.
It's been my pleasure to open up to you. So thank you.
Have a nice night and have a nice day tomorrow.
Thank you. You as well.
Bye bye.